She is yours now.
Please, don't leave me with him.
Let's go. You belong to me now.
The rain hammered down as Sophia stood at the gates of the mansion that was once her home, watching in disbelief as a homeless stranger counted out 5 $20 bills into her stepmother's outstretched hand. $100, Patricia said coldly, taking the money. Take her. She's yours now. Sophia's hands trembled as she clutched her small backpack. This couldn't be real. Her own stepmother was selling her like an object, for less than the cost of a nice dinner. The dishevelled man in the torn coat had just paid $100 for her, and Sophia had no choice but to follow him into the rainy night, terrified of what horrors awaited her. But what she discovered would change everything, because this homeless man wasn't what he seemed. And when her cruel stepmother saw Sophia again months later, the look of absolute shock on her face was priceless. If you love stories about karma, transformation, and finding real love in the most unexpected places, hit that subscribe button right now. You won't want to miss what happens next. And drop a comment telling me, what would you do if someone tried to sell you for $100? Now let me tell you Sophia's incredible journey. The rain hammered down as Sophia Reed stood at the iron gates of the Morgan estate, watching a stranger count out 5 $20 bills into her stepmother's outstretched hand. $100, Patricia Morgan said coldly. Take her. She's yours now. Sophia's breath caught. This couldn't be real. People didn't sell other people, not for the price of a dinner. But the man dishevelled, his coat torn and stained, his dark hair plastered to his forehead, counted out the money and handed it to Patricia, who snatched it greedily and tucked it into her designer coat pocket. His eyes met Sophia's for just a moment, and she saw something there she couldn't quite name. Not cruelty, not hunger, something else entirely. Patricia, please, Sophia whispered, her voice breaking. I'll work harder. I'll stay out of your way. Her stepsister Claire laughed from the covered entrance, her designer dress perfect despite the storm. You really thought you mattered? You're not even real family, Sophia. Patricia's lips curved into a cold smile. Your father's been dead 2 years. His debts are paid. The house is mine. Feeding you has become more trouble than it's worth. She gestured dismissively. At least this way, you're someone else's problem. The stranger turned without a word and began walking down the rain-slicked street. Sophia looked back at the mansion one last time, the massive stone building her father had built, where she'd learned to ride a bike, where her mother had taught her to bake before cancer took her. Every window glowed warm, but those lights felt cold now, belonging to a world that had forgotten her. She had nowhere else to go. No one who cared. The thought of what this stranger might do terrified her, but staying meant becoming invisible until Patricia found something worse. Sophia took a shaking breath and followed him into the darkness. They walked in silence for 30 minutes. The stranger stayed ahead, never looking back. Sophia's shoes squelched with every step, her feet numb with cold. She tried to remember everything her father taught her about staying safe, but shock fogged her mind. Finally, they stopped at a narrow building wedged between a laundromat and a closed convenience store. The stranger unlocked a side door, revealing steep stairs. He climbed without waiting. Sophia's heart pounded. This was it. Run screaming or walk into whatever waited above. She thought of Patricia's face, Claire's laugh, how they'd erased every photo of her father, replaced her mother's garden with parking for Claire's cars, moved Sophia from her childhood bedroom to a basement storage room. She climbed the stairs. The apartment was small but clean. One main room served as kitchen and living area, with a worn couch facing a small television. 2 doors on the left. The stranger walked to one and pushed it open. This is your room, he said quietly. His voice was cultured, unexpected from someone who looked homeless. The lock is on the inside. The bathroom is the other door. We share it. Sophia froze, waiting for the catch, for the demand, for him to tell her what he expected. He walked to the kitchen and filled a kettle. There's food in the refrigerator. Help yourself. I work odd hours, so I'm not here much. When you're ready to leave, you can leave. You don't owe me anything. I don't understand, Sophia whispered. Why would you? I don't want anything from you. He set the kettle on the stove. Sometimes people need help. That's all. He pulled 2 mugs from a cabinet. Tea? Who are you? Someone who saw what they were doing and couldn't walk away. He poured hot water over tea bags. Get some rest. We can talk tomorrow. He set 1 mug near her door and retreated to the couch, grabbing a blanket. Within minutes, he appeared asleep. Sophia crept into the bedroom and locked the door. The room was simple. A bed with clean sheets, a dresser, a lamp, a window. No decorations. But clean and warm, and the lock was solid. She sat on the bed and finally cried. Great sobs that shook her body. Grief for her father, for the life she'd lost, for the family that never was. Terror at what might come. Confusion at this stranger's kindness. Eventually, exhaustion won. She curled up on the covers, still dressed, and fell into fitful sleep. Morning light woke her. For a moment she forgot where she was, panic seizing her heart. Then memory returned. The rain, the money, this room. She unlocked the door carefully. The apartment was empty. A note sat on the table in neat handwriting. Gone to work. Food in fridge. Stay or go. Your choice. No expectations. K. Sophia read it 3 times, searching for hidden threats. But the words were simple, direct. She explored cautiously. The refrigerator held basics. Eggs, bread, milk, vegetables. The bathroom had fresh towels. Men's toiletries, but also unopened women's basics. Soap, shampoo, a new toothbrush still wrapped. He'd been prepared. For her or someone like her. In the living area, she found a bookshelf with novels, architecture books, philosophy texts, some in Korean. On the bottom shelf, pushed back, something caught her eye. A watch. Even Sophia, who knew nothing about luxury goods, could tell this was expensive. Possibly worth thousands. Why would a homeless man own a watch like that? She pushed the thought away. Not her business. The first 2 days she didn't leave. She slept, ate small amounts, showered for the first time in days, and stood under hot water until it ran cold. Kay came home late both nights, nodded quiet greetings, made simple dinners. He left half off for her and slept on the couch. On the 3rd day, Sophia found her voice. Why are you sleeping on the couch? This is your home. Kay looked up from chopping vegetables. You need the bedroom more. I've slept in worse places. I can't just take your bed forever. You're not taking anything I'm offering. He continued chopping with practiced efficiency. There's no timeline, Sophia. No debt. Just be here until you figure out what's next. How do you know my name? A slight smile. Your stepmother used it. Several times. Usually as a complaint. Despite everything, Sophia almost laughed. She's good at those. I noticed. He started heating oil. You're welcome to share this. Just stir-fry, nothing fancy. That night they ate together. Kay asked no personal questions, made no demands. He talked about the weather, a funny dog at the park, nothing important. But his presence was steady, calm, and somehow that made Sophia feel safer than she had in years. By the first week's end, Sophia ventured outside during the day. She walked the neighbourhood, learning its rhythms. By the 2nd week, she'd found a coffee shop with a help wanted sign. I've never worked in a coffee shop, she admitted to the owner, a tired woman in her 50s. You ever been treated like dirt? The woman asked. Yes. Then you'll treat my customers better. You're hired. Minimum wage. Tips are yours. Start tomorrow. When Sophia came home with news, Kay's face lit with genuine pleasure. That's great, really great. I'll pay you rent soon. And food costs. I've been keeping track. Sophia. His voice was gentle but firm. Keep your money. Save it. You'll need a cushion for whatever comes next. What if there is no next? What if I stay? Something flickered in his expression, too quick to read. Then you stay. But build savings anyway. Everyone needs options. Weeks blurred together. Sophia fell into routine. Coffee shop mornings, home afternoons, quiet evenings with Kay. They cooked together sometimes. He taught her Korean dishes his grandmother had shown him. She taught him her mother's apple pie recipe, and when it came out of the oven, they both got quiet, remembering people they'd lost. Kay worked odd jobs, construction, deliveries, handyman repairs. He left early, came home late, always tired but never harsh. Sometimes Sophia caught him reading late into the night, books about business and technology that seemed out of place. "Were you something else before?" she asked one evening. Kay closed his book slowly. "We're all something else before. That's how time works." "That's not an answer." "No," he agreed. "It's not." But he didn't offer more, and Sophia didn't push. 2 months in, everything shifted. Sophia was washing dishes when Kay came to stand beside her, drying plates she handed him. Their hands brushed as she passed him a bowl, and electricity shot up her arm. She looked up and found him watching her with an expression that made her breath catch. "Sophia," he said quietly, "I need to tell you something." Her heart hammered. Here it was, the catch. "What?" "I'm glad you're here. I know the circumstances were awful, and I wish it happened differently, but I'm glad you're here." Relief and something warm and dangerous flooded through her. "I'm glad I'm here too, even though it's insane, even though I should probably be terrified. I'm glad." They stood in the small kitchen, dripping dishes forgotten, until Kay reached up and tucked hair behind her ear. His fingers lingered against her cheek. "You're not what I expected," Sophia whispered. "Neither are you." His thumb traced her jawline. "You're so much stronger than you think." "I don't feel strong." "Strength isn't about feeling. It's about doing anyway." Sophia rose on her toes and kissed him. Just a brief press of lips, testing, terrified. Kay made a soft sound and pulled her closer, deepening the kiss with a gentleness that made tears prick her eyes. When they broke apart, both breathing hard, Kay rested his forehead against hers. "We should take this slow. Why?" "Because you've been through trauma. Because I want you to be sure. Because you deserve to make choices from clarity, not need." That night, Sophia lay in bed feeling something unfamiliar. Hope. Real hope for a future that might actually be good. The next morning, Kay left a note. "Dinner tonight? Somewhere nice, if you want. Kay." Sophia smiled and texted the number he'd given for emergencies. "I want." They started dating, absurd considering they lived together, but Kay insisted on doing things properly. He took her to modest restaurants, free concerts in the park, art galleries during free admission hours. He held her hand, opened doors, listened when she talked about her father, her childhood, her dreams. Sophia fell in love slowly, and then all at once, with his quiet strength, his terrible jokes, the way he burned rice every time but kept trying, the way he looked at her like she mattered, like she was precious, like she was seen. 3 months after that first kiss, they stood on the building's roof, watching sunset paint the city gold and orange. Kay's arm was around her shoulders, and Sophia felt more at home than she had since her father died. "I need to tell you something," Kay said. Sophia's stomach dropped. She'd known this was coming. "What?" "I've been lying to you. Not about my feelings, those are real, but about who I am." He turned to face her, his expression tortured. "Sophia, I'm not who you think I am. I don't understand. I'm not homeless. I've never been homeless." He pulled a folded paper from his pocket. "This came today. I can't hide anymore." Sophia unfolded it with shaking hands. An invitation to a charity gala, the Nakamura Industries annual fundraiser, hosted by CEO Kai Nakamura. She read it twice, 3 times, looked up at Kay, at Kai, at whoever he was. "You're a CEO?" "Yes." "Of a tech company?" "A billion-dollar tech company." "And you were just what? Playing homeless? Slumming it for fun?" "No." Kai's voice was urgent. "Nothing like that. Please let me explain." "Explain how you've been lying for months? How this was some kind of game?" Tears burned her eyes. "Was I the experiment? Poor girl fallen on hard times. Let's see if she's grateful." "Stop." Kai grabbed her hands. "Listen, please." Sophia wanted to run, to hide, to disappear, but something in his voice made her stay. 6 months ago, I walked away from everything, Kai said. The company, the money, the penthouse, all of it. Do you know what it's like to never know if people want you or want what you can give? To wonder if every smile is calculating how to use you? I was drowning in wealth and dying of loneliness. So you decided to play pretend? I decided to find out if anyone could see me. Just me. Not my bank account or my connections. He squeezed her hands. That night, I was walking back from a construction job under a fake name. I saw your stepmother dragging you to those gates. I heard her negotiating with some guy who looked at you like you were meat. I had $100 in my pocket from that day's work. Sophia's breath caught. There was someone else? He was offering $50. Patricia was holding out for more. I offered $100. She took it. Kai's voice roughened. I couldn't leave you with him. I couldn't walk away. But I also couldn't reveal who I was, because then you'd make decisions based on money again. You'd been sold. I wanted to give you something real. By lying to me? Yes. He didn't flinch. I made that choice. I let you think I was someone I'm not. I did it because I'm selfish and wanted to be loved for who I am, not what I have. I wanted what we built to be real. It was real, Sophia whispered. It was real to me. Was? She pulled her hands away. I don't know what it is now. I don't know who you are. The man I fell in love with burns rice and tells dad jokes and reads at 2 a.m. Is that you? Or was it performance? That's me. All of it. The CEO thing is the performance, Kai's voice cracked. But I understand if you can't trust that. I understand if you need to leave. I have an apartment downtown. I can give you the keys, the deed, whatever you need. You never have to see me again. Sophia turned away, gripping the roof's edge. Below, the city pulsed with life. I need to think. The gala is next week. I have to go. I have to step back into that world. He moved beside her, but didn't touch. I want you there with me. Not as revenge on your stepmother, not as a trophy, but as my partner, as the woman I love. But I'll understand if Patricia will be there, Sophia said suddenly. What? Patricia and Claire. They clung to social connections even when money got tight. They'll be there, won't they? Probably. Is that important? Sophia thought about the girl at those iron gates in the rain, about the woman she'd become in a tiny apartment with a man who saw her as human, about love built on honesty versus relationships built on transactions. I need space, she said finally. I need to figure out if what I feel can survive you being someone different than I thought. I'm not different. I'm just more. That's what I need to figure out. She headed for the roof access. I'm staying at the coffee shop owner's place. Give me until the gala. I'll have an answer then. Sophia, please, just give me time. The next 5 days were the longest of Sophia's life. She stayed in a cramped room above the coffee shop, working double shifts and thinking. Maria didn't ask questions, just fed her and let her be. On the 3rd day, Sophia walked back to the Morgan estate. She stood outside those iron gates, hand on cold metal, watching through windows as Patricia and Claire argued. Even from a distance, she could see the tension, the stress, the cracks. A car pulled up and Sophia stepped into shadows. She watched Patricia come out, watched her plaster on a fake smile, watched Claire preen and pose, and she realised something fundamental. These women had never loved her, but more importantly, she'd never loved them. She'd loved her father, her mother, the idea of family. But Patricia and Claire? Strangers who happened to live in her house. Kai had seen her, the real her, the scared, broken, healing her, and he'd made space for all of it. On the 4th day, she walked past the building with their apartment. She didn't go in, but stood across the street looking up at the windows. A light was on. He was home, probably reading on that worn couch, or burning dinner, or doing any of the 100 small things that had become familiar. The money didn't change those things. The CEO title didn't change how he listened. The billion-dollar company didn't change the gentleness of his hands or warmth of his smile. He was still him. He'd just hidden part of himself, the same way she'd hidden her grief and fear behind compliance in Patricia's house. On the 5th day, Sophia went shopping. She used money she'd saved and bought a dress. Nothing extravagant, but nice. The kind of dress you wore when you wanted to feel powerful. Then she texted Kai, "I'll meet you at the gala. We need to talk." His response came immediately. "I'll be waiting." The charity gala was held in the ballroom of the city's most expensive hotel. Sophia arrived alone, hands shaking as she gave her name. The woman's eyes widened when she checked the list. Miss Reed, yes. You're at table 1 with Mr. Nakamura. Right this way. The ballroom was overwhelming. Crystal chandeliers, designer gowns, jewelry that cost more than Sophia had earned in her life. She felt like an imposter. Then she saw him. Kai stood near the windows in a perfectly tailored tuxedo. His hair was styled, his posture different, more commanding, more remote. He was surrounded by people who clearly wanted his attention. But when he saw her, everything else fell away. His face lit with such pure joy that Sophia's breath caught. He excused himself and walked toward her, and despite the expensive clothes and fancy venue, she saw him. The man who'd made her tea that first terrible night. The man who'd given her space to heal. The man who'd fallen in love with her over burnt rice. You came, he said softly. I said I would. I wasn't sure you'd want to. Kai. She used his full name deliberately. I love you. The you who reads too late and tells terrible jokes and gives me space when I need it. That you. I don't know if I love CEO you yet. I haven't met him properly. A smile tugged at his lips. Would you like to? Maybe. Eventually. But right now, I need the truth. Was I an experiment? Kai's face went serious. You want the real truth? The ugly truth? Yes. It started as curiosity. I saw you and wanted to help, but I was also curious if I could build something real outside my money. So yes, there was experiment. He took her hands. But that lasted 12 hours. By the time you smiled at me, by the time you insisted on paying for food, by the time you taught me your mother's pie recipe, it stopped being about me and became about us. I fell in love with you, Sophia. Completely. Really. Sophia felt tears prick her eyes. I fell in love with you too, even though I shouldn't have. Even though it was crazy. Sophia, the voice cut through the ballroom. Sophia turned to see Patricia and Claire 3 feet away, faces frozen in shock. What are you doing here? Patricia demanded, voice low and furious. This is private. How did you... She's with me, Kai said calmly, stepping close to Sophia. My guest. My partner. Claire's eyes went wide. You're Nakamura? The CEO? I am. But you were... Patricia's face went through emotions. You were homeless. You were the man oh God. Realization hit them both. The $100. The throwaway transaction. The man they dismissed as worthless. You sold her to a billionaire, Kai said quietly. For $100. Because you couldn't see past appearances. Because you measured worth in bank accounts and treated people like commodities. Patricia's face went white. I didn't know. If I'd known who you were. You would have sold her for more? Sophia found her voice. Or kept me, tried to use me to get to his money. That's the only difference, isn't it? Sophia, darling, you have to understand. Don't. Sophia's voice was sharp. Don't call me darling. Don't pretend you care. You made your choice when you took that money. And I'm grateful. Because you freed me from pretending you were my family. Claire stepped forward, expression calculating. Surely we can work this out. We're still family. We're not family, Sophia said firmly. We never were. You made that clear. And I've made peace with it. She turned to Kai. Can we go? I don't want to be here anymore. Absolutely, he offered his arm. There's a couch across town that's much more comfortable anyway. They walked out together, leaving Patricia and Claire staring. As they stepped into cool night air, Sophia started laughing. Great gasping laughs that bent her over. What? Kai asked, smiling. They sold me for $100, and they're only upset now because they know what you're worth. It's so perfectly them. Hey, Kai turned her to face him. What am I worth? Financially. Billions, apparently. That's not what I meant. Sophia cupped his face. You're worth burnt rice and terrible jokes and late-night reading and the way you look at me like I matter. You're worth patience and kindness and space to heal. You're worth everything that has nothing to do with money. Kai kissed her then, deep and thorough, right there on the hotel steps while valets and guests moved around them. When he pulled back, his eyes were bright. Come home with me, the real home, the penthouse downtown. Can we stop by the apartment first? I kind of love that couch. We can keep it. We can keep everything that matters. They took a cab to the tiny apartment above the laundromat. It looked exactly the same as when Sophia first walked in, terrified and alone. But now it felt different. It felt like the place where she'd learned to be whole. I want to keep this place, Sophia said. Even if we live somewhere else, I want to keep it exactly like this. Why? Because this is where I learned that home isn't a mansion or a penthouse. It's where someone sees you. Really sees you. This apartment is where you saw me. Where I saw you. That matters. He pulled her close. We'll keep it. Forever if you want. I want? They stood in the quiet apartment, holding each other as the city hummed beyond the windows. Tomorrow they'd figure out what came next. Tomorrow they'd navigate complications of his world and her past and their future. Tomorrow there would be decisions and discussions, and probably more tears. But tonight, in this small space where broken pieces had become whole, they simply held on to what they'd found. Love that transcended wealth and status and every transaction the world tried to reduce them to. Thank you, Sophia whispered. For what? For seeing me, when no one else could. Kai pressed a kiss to her forehead. Thank you for seeing me back. Outside, the city lights glowed like stars, and somewhere across town, Patricia and Claire were learning that some mistakes cost more than money could measure. But in the small apartment above the laundromat, Sophia and Kai had learned what really mattered. And it had nothing to do with price tags at all. If this story touched your heart, subscribe to our channel for more emotional journeys that remind us what truly matters in life. Comment below and tell us what you thought of Sophia's transformation from broken to whole. Hit that like button if you believe real love can't be bought or sold. Your support helps us share more stories about resilience, hope, and finding home in unexpected places. Thank you for watching, and remember, the most valuable things in life never come with a price tag.